Hello everyone and welcome back to Xbox Nation. My name is Fletcher and today we're diving into the top 15 brand new Xbox and Game Pass games that are releasing this May. After a pretty busy April, this year is still ramping up in terms of releases and May is absolutely stacked with some brand new releases. Finally, it's the month that we can rip and tear and I know many of you are extremely excited. Before we dive in though, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Xbox content such as news, reviews and updates every single day. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get right into the games coming your way for this May. First up on the 6th of May, we finally got a console release coming our way for King Arthur Legion 9. In case you were in the dark about this release since its launch over on PC, I'll give you a very brief rundown. Essentially, this one is a turn-based, character-centric tactical RPG in the King Arthur Knight's Tale universe, and is a dark fantasy version of Arthurian myth. King Arthur Legion 9 actually welcomes us into the mythical land of Avalon with an all-new story and different heroes, also offering tougher challenges to returning veterans. In essence, a new threat looms over Avalon as the long-lost infamous 9th Legion of Rome has set foot on the mythical island, and it is your job to rebuild and protect the only Roman colony in Avalon. Upon doing some research, this game does have fairly mixed reviews over on Steam, and that seems to be due to the fact that the game reuses assets and enemies from the King Arthur Knight's Tales entry, but then again, others do praise it for its great storytelling. Spirit of the North was an unexpected success when it debuted almost 6 years ago now, and the sequel is finally coming out this May. We had more details recently that revealed the Spirit of the North 2 will be releasing on Xbox on the 8th of May. In this one though, we'll be taken to an ancient world that's been left in ruin, and we will be embarking on a journey with an isolated fox far from home. With the help of a wise raven companion this time around, we'll have to seek out the lost legendary guardians and then release them from the grasp of what is a dark shaman. Of course, as per the previous game, we will get to roam freely throughout a vast ancient open world, and that will be rich with long forgotten history. It looks stunning from what I've seen so far, and I cannot wait to explore another beautiful and surreal indie experience. I really do recommend that you actually dive into the first Spirit of the North if you haven't played it already, as it really does tug at the heartstrings and is such an underappreciated gem. Now, I am really hyped for this sequel, as I absolutely adored Journey to the Savage Planet when it first released, and it really became a cult classic. Revenge of the Savage Planet is coming out the gates flying this March, and is also coming to Xbox Game Pass as a day one release. And this time the game keeps the corporate satire we know and love, but puts it in a brand new third-person adventure stylization. You might remember, but the first game was entirely in first person, and had some incredible jokes about greed and stupidity. It looks as though Revenge is actually keeping all of those tropes, but making it even more a platformer. This can also be played entirely on co-op, so you can mess around, blow up stuff, kill enemies, and make absurd jokes with your friends. Of course, this has a greater degree of freedom in traversal and puzzle solving than we've ever seen before, and also largely retains the elements of the original's Metroidvania style design. Last week, developer Silent Games actually announced that their action role-playing game called Empyreal will land on the Xbox Series consoles on the 8th of May. Empyreal is an action RPG in a richly detailed sci-fi fantasy universe. While the setting is sci-fi featuring futuristic technology and intergalactic civilizations, the feel and mood here is actually more fantasy though. And although the technology replaces the magic from a traditional fantasy setting, the supernatural and the divine play a significant role in the story and lore of this universe. The game will begin with your character arriving on an unexplored planet, only to discover the remnants of a lost civilization. What's more, it seems to become clear, though ancient, this civilization made breakthroughs and discoveries that are far removed from humanity's understanding of the modern world. It looks like a really great indie experience, and a huge bit of news is that even though it does look like a Souls-like as you can see on screen now, I can actually confirm that this is not the case and is more in line with the original God of War games. One game that has been garnering quite a bit of attention is finally coming this May. The Precinct is a neo-noir action sandbox police game with a top-down perspective, similar in many ways to the original GTA games, hence why it's got such a decent crowd watching it. Presented with this perspective, you'll spend most of your time in the precinct exploring the city on foot or behind the wheel. You could be on traffic duty, giving tickets for poor parking or speeding, or on a walk beat where you'll break up fights or stop burglaries. You'll start by speaking to the suspect before searching them and deciding which, if any, crimes to charge them with. Finally, you'll then be able to send them back to the precinct for their sentencing. Of course, it may look like an obvious comparison, but there are a lot of similarities here between the precinct and LA Noire, including the way you slowly, methodically cruise around the city, question suspects, and begin your day from a familiar meeting room. It looks rather interesting, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts of it down below when it comes to Xbox this May. If you are a fan of games like The Sims, Inzoi, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and others out there in the same genre, you'll definitely want to pay attention for the Xbox launch of Palia, which is bringing its popular free-to-play multiplayer game to us for the very first time. Palia is actually described as a cozy community sim where you can fish, farm, cook, explore, build your dream home, and even unravel a deep mystery along the way. And you can do all of this as part of a shared online world made for you and your friends. Looking at the Steam reviews, Palia has a very positive rating based on over 25,000 reviews, so it definitely sounds like it's worth a try when it comes to the Xbox Series X and S consoles. It's not going to cost you anything to do so, and I do know that a couple of ladies from my old workplace used to be absolutely addicted to this game, and knowing me, I'll probably lose my own partner to it when it lands on Xbox on the 13th of May. Get ready to rip and tear as the launch of Doom: The Dark Ages is almost here, and I have to say, this is quite easily my most anticipated game so far for 2025. Xbox Game Pass is having an absolute blinder of a year so far, from South of Midnight, Avowed, the recent Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and there's a link below for my review by the way, and now the final entry in the beloved Doom series. This one, of course, as I'm sure you're aware by now, puts us in the medieval realms, fighting tons of demons whilst on foot, flying with a laser beaming dragon, and a huge mech. Everything we've seen so far from this new Doom looks utterly insane. The combat is slower compared to Doom Eternal, but you're still fluid with how you go about killing demons, and id Software really wanted you to feel the weight of the Doomslayer. There is finally no need to conserve your ammo, it's more run, gun, parry, throw your shield, and glory kill to your heart's content. Of course, it is a day one Xbox Game Pass title and comes to us on the 15th of May. If you are looking forward to the next entry by the SnowRunner dev team, then you don't have to wait long, as RoadCraft finally launches on the 20th of May. This of course means it's very much a simulation game where you're fighting terrain with tyres, except this time you aren't just driving about, but managing a fleet of machines to carry out some heavy construction work. In RoadCraft, you'll be taking the helm of a company specialising in the restoration of industrial sites around the globe, which have been ravaged by natural disasters. Whether dealing with the aftermath of a devastating flood or a relentless sandstorm, your mission is to deploy an impressive fleet of construction vehicles to clear debris, reactivate dormant factories, and rebuild crucial infrastructure like roads and bridges to revive the local economy. RoadCraft looks to take Saber's expertise in tricky terrain and how vehicles react to that terrain by plugging it in more of a management sim. Again, this one does come to Xbox Series consoles on the 20th of May. The roguelike deck building genre is getting a powerful sequel with Monster Train 2 this May. Developed by Shiny Shoe, this game builds on the fast-paced strategic combat of the original Monster Train, adding in new factions, deeper deck building mechanics, and even more replayability. In the first game, players fought to rekindle the fires of hell while battling against the forces of heaven, and now in Monster Train 2, it's set to expand on that world with brand new enemies, environments, and gameplay twists. The game will retain that 3-tier battle system we know and love, but introduce more ways to modify and customize your deck, making every run really unique. With new card synergies, unlockable characters, and dynamic difficulty scaling, every playthrough here looks to feel fresh. The PC demo had me absolutely hooked, and I can't wait to see how Monster Train 2 refines that highly addictive formula. If you love deck building roguelikes, this one should be at the top of your list for this May. From the studio behind Metroid Dread, Blades of Fire is an intense action-adventure game that fuses fast-paced combat, deep strategy, and cinematic storytelling. As an overview, and upon doing my research, you will take control of Aaron Delira. He's essentially a hardened warrior on a mission to overthrow a tyrannical queen with the ability to turn metal into stone. This means that traditional weapons are very useless, and players must rely on forged custom weaponry. With over 50 enemy types, a brutal dismemberment system, and a companion sorcerer providing you with magical support, every battle looks to require precise attacks and strategic movement. It is coming to Xbox on the 22nd of May and is already drawing comparisons to the likes of God of War, but with its own signature combat mechanics and weapon crafting depth. 505 Games have promised that Blades of Fire will stand out as one of the year's most anticipated action games, and we won't have to wait much longer to see how this one plays out. To be honest, I wasn't expecting a game like this to come out from Konami in 2025, but with the publisher bringing many banging titles to us quite recently, Deliver at All Costs looks pretty fun and is priced very, very well. This game will see us step into the shoes of Winston Green, a down-on-his-luck delivery driver, smashing his way through a 1950s-inspired world filled with destruction, absurdity, and intrigue. Whether that's crashing through fences, dodging enraged townsfolk, or just unraveling a deeper mystery, every delivery looks to be complete chaos in the best way humanly possible. Again, this one's looking to go for a top-down perspective, similar in vein to the Precinct, but this one actually looks to go more absurd in terms of its destruction, humor, and so much more. To be honest, I'm absolutely loving the stylization of this one again, and I didn't even know it was coming out this May until doing research for this video. It will only be £24.99 at launch, and even has a 10% pre-order discount, so you can claim that one right now. To a T is an episodic 3D narrative adventure game which, according to Annapurna Interactive, has us play as a teenager called Teen with a very unique posture, just trying to live a normal life in a small coastal town. Along with their dog, Teen will go to school, deal with bullies, and then mysteriously discover a new ability granted to them by their extraordinary posture, which prompts them to uncover more about this mysterious lineage. We'll be able to play through many different minigames here, explore the town, find different collectibles, customize Teen, chat to townspeople, and also experience Tuati's episodic story. Knowing this is coming from the Katamari Damacy creator himself has certainly intrigued me, as without a doubt we're going to experience something very weird, but bloody wonderful. Tuati has a confirmed Xbox Series X and S release date of the 28th of May. From Software, the developer of Elden Ring, decided to give its fans an unusual new treat, a brand new game in the series. However, instead of a Souls-like title, they made it a roguelike with Souls-like elements. In Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN, you will be able to join your friends and explore an ever-changing world with time limits and various bosses scattered around the map. Instead of creating your own avatars, in this game you have to select from preset characters belonging to various classes. Each of them will have their unique gameplay style. For long-term fans of From Software RPGs, the game features various callbacks to the previous titles though. The biggest examples are the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3 and the Gaping Dragon from the first Dark Souls. Given the success and fanfare of Elden Ring, this spin-off is, without a doubt, a speck of doubt, and one of the most anticipated games among their upcoming games in May 2025, and it comes out towards the tail end of this month. EA and Codemasters are bringing EA Sports F1 25, this year's iteration of the annual motorsport sim, to the Xbox Series X and S on the very same day. It seems this will be an important one as well, as it's actually the first F1 game to drop the Xbox One consoles, releasing only on current-gen hardware. As for what's new here, this year's racing sim will include the fan-favourite story mode, Breaking Point, and it's making its grand return with a third chapter. On top of that, the press release says My Team mode has had a significant overhaul. Players will take on the role of a team owner, and a new owner perk system will also allow you to hone in on your favourite aspects of management. You'll of course be able to step into the racing suit as one of your two drivers and engage in races themselves. The LiDAR technology that the team have used over at Codemasters looks to improve the authenticity of the circuits even further, and Lewis Hamilton in his 2025 season Ferrari getup stars on the cover of the game's iconic edition. Are you excited for this year's F1 game? Let me know down below. Now, Spray Paint Simulator was revealed back at the start of April and is another game that is similar in vein to the Power Wash Simulator genre, but at present we only have a May release window for this current game. In Spray Paint Simulator though, it'll essentially be your job to give a fresh coat of paint to worn out surfaces, that'll be spanning anything from giant robots to small kitchens. You'll also have to build your own spray painting business along the way. The game of course seems to have a lot in common with the likes of Power Wash Simulator, and the good news is that it also features online co-op support, so you'll be able to enjoy spray painting with a friend on Xbox Game Pass. Power Wash Simulator really is a hidden gem on Xbox Game Pass that blew up onto the scene for its addictive gameplay and incredibly pleasing dirt washing. Like I said, we're still waiting on a definite date for this new game, so I'll let you know more details as they come, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. As a bit of bonus news, we do have two huge bits of DLC coming out this May. The first is Everspace 2 Wrath of the Ancients and is coming to us on the 12th of May. Without giving too much away, players who finished the main story of Everspace 2 have long been eager to return to Atheon, the star system that plays home to some of the space game's cinematic moments but is otherwise inaccessible after the game. The good news is that time is nigh. This new expansion, Wrath of the Ancients, is set to give us a dramatic expansion to the playable universe of the RPG in 2025, introducing 4 new star systems packed with enemies, weapons and loot, of which Atheon is obviously one of those. The best thing is that the devs have reduced the price of this DLC and put out a statement saying the following. They essentially want to keep it down due to tariffs and rising prices within the industry, which is pretty amazing to see. Then on the 15th of May, we have the Star Wars Outlaws A Pirate's Fortune DLC. This was actually revealed at this weekend's Star Wars Celebration event over in Japan, and is coming to all platforms and will be free for those who have a season pass. Of course, you take control of Kay and Nyx again as they explore the Kepi system with the legendary pirate Hondo from the Clone Wars animated series. I don't know how many of you are actually interested in this DLC, and if you've tried it since its launch, I would be keen on hearing some thoughts down in the comments below. So, what game are you excited for this May? And let me know if there's any games you would like to see on Xbox Game Pass. For me personally, I can't wait for Doom, so definitely stay tuned for my review on this when it goes live very soon. Whilst here though, smash that like button and let's see if we can break 800 likes and subscribe for more Xbox content like this every single day. Whilst here though, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I did review Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Trust me, this game will be a Game of the Year contender for many of you out there, and I have a ton of thoughts you'll definitely want to check out.